This is why you should never go to a sleepover. In 2013, a kid named Olivia was sleeping over at a friend's house. Olivia and her friend Emma were having a good time staying up late and watching movies. After a while, they decided it was time to go to sleep, so they called it a night. Emma fell asleep in her bed. Olivia tried to go to sleep in her sleeping bag on the floor, but she couldn't fall asleep because she kept hearing these strange breathing noises. She thought it was just Emma snoring, so Olivia threw a pillow to try and wake Emma up. Emma woke up confused, and she said, "What's wrong?" And Olivia said, "I can't go to sleep." And as soon as she said that, Olivia looked underneath Emma's bed and saw something terrifying. There was a man under Emma's bed grinning at Olivia. He put his finger over his lips and tried to shush Olivia. Olivia started screaming in terror.
I saw a video of a girl asking if you've ever had a friend that just hated you, and I thought this was my time to shine. So I went through a lot of different friend groups and best friends and stuff throughout my whole life, but I had one friend that I had for 7 years and one friend that I had for 4. And the friend I had for 7 years I started becoming friends with this other girl in high school, and I just introduced the two of them together, so then all 3 of us became a trio. And one weird thing about my school was that we didn't have, people weren't just, friends with just one other person. There weren't a whole lot of that. It was a lot of big groups. So even though we weren't popular, everybody, knew of us because we were that weird group that, the weird trio. I'm telling you, even teachers knew not to separate us because we were going to, back together. So fast forward to senior prom, we're going to call them Rachel and Ashley. Rachel and Ashley went to Ashley's house and decided that they were going to get ready together, and I got ready at my house. Now, this made sense because Ashley lived pretty far out, and I had a hair appointment in the middle of the day, so it didn't really make sense to drive all the way out there, drive back into town, drive back out there. I just got ready at my house. And if you've seen my prom pictures, you know I did Lady Gaga's Met Gala look for prom. Skipping blush and highlight because I'm doing that in a different video. So I finished my makeup, and I text a picture of it to Rachel. And she's like, "Oh, you need to take that off. You cannot wear that. That is embarrassing. We do not want to be seen with that." And I'm just like, no, I spent 2 hours on it. I did not have time to take it off. I was like, no. And she was like, "Okay, well, then we're not going to come get you." Now, my parents had my car because one of their cars was in the shop. And I was like, "You have to come get me or I can't get there." So begrudgingly, they come to my house and they pick me up. And then we meet all of our parents to go do pictures. Now, when we get there, they take one picture with me. Also, no, the whole drive over, they did not talk to me or acknowledge me. So they take one picture with me, then I get sprayed by a sprinkler and I get soaked. So now I'm crying. They do not care. They have better things to do. And then at this point, the parents are finding this weird because I'm being completely overlooked, and that's never happened before. At least that they've seen. So all the parents are like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine." So we finish pictures and say farewell to our parents. So then we go to dinner. It's the most awkward thing ever. No one talks to me. So I'm just like, okay, when I get to prom, I'll find other people. At prom, some other girls hang out with us, so it's fine. It doesn't feel too awkward. Then when we get in the car to leave, Ashley looks at Rachel and is like, "Hey, do you want to spend the night at my house?" And Rachel's like, "Yeah, I'd love to." So Ashley goes, "Great. We'll drop Allie off and then we will go to my house." And that's exactly what happened.
When I was 13, I made the worst decision of my life. It traumatized me so much. I'm now 19 and I regret it every day. I decided to move away from my family to a completely different city 2 hours away and live in an apartment with 2 girls I barely knew, one of them I had never met, to pursue gymnastics more seriously. The way this worked is Monday through Friday we had gymnastics and we would do school upstairs online, and then every night a different parent would come stay with us in our 1-bedroom apartment, and then at the end of the week on Friday we would all go back home and then drive back up to the apartment Sunday night. So I would see my mom once or twice a week, and then some of Friday, all of Saturday, and some of Sunday. Why she let me do this, I have no idea. Also, all 3 of us were about the same age, and I was in 8th grade. The only good thing that came out of this is I met one of my best friends who was the girl I didn't know. The gym environment ended up being absolutely traumatizing, and we were all being Things went south pretty quick. We were all crying multiple times a day. We would cry before practice, we would cry at night anticipating practice, we'd cry after practice, and our parents were like, you made this decision, like you gotta stick to it, but I don't think they knew how bad it was. We all started to experience panic attacks and we just wanted to be home. I absolutely hated like every second there, and I'm pretty sure they did too. I have so many stories of just whack, horrible things that happened there. But like I said, there was one good thing that came out of it, and that was meeting my best friend, and she was the girl that I didn't know when I first moved in. We became inseparable like super quick. We did everything together, and when we weren't at practice or worrying about practice, we were like laughing. The whole time we were supposed to be doing school, we would be laughing. Like I never laughed harder than I did with that girl. We would have movie nights like all the time, and since we were all staying in the same bedroom, we ended up making a fort underneath our beds because they were all touching, and we'd watch movies under there. My best friend ended up bringing her cat, and we also had a hamster. That hamster is a story for a different time, but we had so much fun having like the cat there. We were definitely all trauma bonded because we went through so much together. I still talk to the girl I was best friends with. I actually FaceTimed her the other night, and she's my best friend I've ever had in my entire life. I wish I could have met my bestie in a different way because the damage was so not worth it. This entire thing lasted over a year, so let me know if you want more stories from this time in my life because I have so many.
Story time of when my best friend of 8 years flew to visit me and left after one day and blocked me. This story is wild, but we're gonna have to back up a little bit. So me and this girl were virtual friends for the past 8 years. We FaceTimed almost every day, talked about everything, our secrets, our life, literally everything. We had never met in person. I know, crazy. Then she started talking to a guy from my city, and she had been talking to him for a month or so. And then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna come visit you because I've been dying to meet you, and I could meet him at the same time. So it'd be, killing two birds with one stone. I was super excited because we had tried to meet up multiple times before, and it just never panned out. So I was excited to see her and be able to, finally meet in person. I told her that she had to come stay with me, that there was no way she was staying in a hotel. She had to stay with me. And she made it clear, she's like, I'm coming for you, not for him, but like, I'm gonna obviously spend some time with him, but I really mainly want to come for you. And I said, girl, don't worry about it. We can share you, no problem. A few days before she came, I went through something super difficult in my personal life, and I was at a very bad place, and I was talking to her about it because she's my friend. She asked me, she's like, do you want me to stay in a hotel if too much is going on? And I was like, no way. Like, especially in our culture, we're both Arab, it's super disrespectful if somebody comes to your city and stays in a hotel. They have to stay with you. And I saw her as like a close friend. I wanted her to be around, and like my house is her house. She's like a close friend to me. She also had mentioned prior that she checked the hotel prices and they were so expensive. So obviously I was never gonna let her stay at a hotel. So a day or two later she came, and I couldn't pick her up from the airport because I had a mandatory lab that I had to go to, but the guy she was talking to picked her up. So I told her that I could meet her right after class, but she said she wanted to spend the day with the guy and that she would meet up with me later. So she came, met up with me later in the evening around like 8:30, 9 p.m. and she'd been here all day, which is fine. I wanted her to spend time with the guy, see if they hit it off. We went for dinner, and by that point I was getting really exhausted because I'd been up since 6 a.m. at school, so I was so tired. So we went home, we kind of got into our PJs, and just like I was tired, so I just got in bed right away, to be honest. It was like, I could tell like you're really like in a bad place and like you're not as bubbly as usual. And I'm like, yeah, like like everything I went through was super hard and I'm just struggling with it a bit. And she's like, yeah, like I hate to see you like this, like you're just so down. And I was trying my best to be as bubbly as I could for her. Like I was trying my best, but like, as my friend of 8 years, like she should be understanding of the fact that like, shit happens. Anyway, so the next morning we got up. She's like, what do you want to do today? I'm like, let's go get breakfast, then we can go to the mall, and then we can play the rest of the day by ear, because I know she had dinner with her man later that day. So we go for breakfast, and then we're in the car, we're about to go to the mall, and she tells me, you know what, I think I'm gonna actually book a hotel and leave. Go to story time of when my best friend of 8 years flew to visit me and blocked me and left the next day. Part 2. She told me she wanted to leave because she felt like I wasn't in a good headspace, and I told her that like, yeah, I haven't been the best and she knows everything that went along, but like I really want to spend time with her, and like I tried to make her as comfortable as possible. I gave her own bedroom, her own bathroom. There was no guys at my house. Like there was no other reason for her to feel uncomfortable or anything. And I told her that if she left, like, I find it super disrespectful because I opened my home to her and, like, I want to spend time with her. And it just felt like everything going on in my life, everything was going wrong, and this was just another thing that was going wrong. It just felt like in my time of need, instead of her wanting to be there for me, she just felt like I wasn't giving the vibes she wanted, so it was better to leave. And a close friend would be happy to be there with me in my hard time because we can finally be in person, not on FaceTime, and like we could actually be there for each other. What I went through was not something small, and like she completely understood. I was very transparent about everything I was going through, but she's like, I just want to leave. I just think it's best if I leave. And I made it clear that that would really upset me. And she's like, I'm leaving to respect you. But I told her that I found that disrespectful and it would make me unhappy. Anyways, an hour later, she packed her stuff and she left, and she was like, tomorrow, let's please go for dinner together. Like, I don't want you to think like I don't want to spend time with you. I still do. I just think it's best if I leave. I was like, yeah, no problem. Tomorrow we can go for dinner. It was her last day. The next day, she didn't call me, didn't message me, nothing. Completely went ghost, and I didn't message her either because I was actually really upset by what she did. That last day that she didn't message me, I saw her posting that she was out with, you know, the guy she came for. Clearly, if she came for him and she didn't want to spend time with me, she could have just said that. But anyways, and then the next morning she left the country. She left and went back home. Did not hear one word from her. And what happened next genuinely shocked me to my core. Story time of when my best friend of 8 years came to visit me and blocked me and left after one day. Part 3. So she didn't reach out to me. She went back home. And then honestly, I was super hurt because I just couldn't believe she did that to me. Like, I understand she wanted to have fun and like, obviously she don't want to be around negative energy, but like I was trying my best to be happy and I was happy to spend time with her. But after 8 years of friendship, and this is the first time we meet each other, for her to do that was just so disheartening. I knew after she didn't reach out to me that there's a big chance that our friendship was over, because personally I don't want to be friends with someone who clearly showed me that they don't care about me. Then I went on Instagram and noticed that she had removed me off of Instagram. Like, how rude. Like, I'm sorry, how rude. So I texted her. I was like, I'm very heartbroken that you did this. Like, I can't believe it, da da da. Like, I didn't swear. I was very respectful. I was like, I'm like honestly really upset. Like, I opened my home to you. I treated you like family. Like, I wanted to have you around. And like, yes, I wasn't in the best place, but for you to leave me, like, I never made you feel like you had to be with me all the time. I wanted you to spend your time equally, but for you to have left because I wasn't giving the vibes that you wanted is just so hurtful, especially knowing everything that I was going through. She was like, I knew you'd rub it in my face that you opened your home to me. You didn't even pick me up from the airport. I'm like, I had a class that I couldn't miss. Like, and she's like, you're a terrible person. You're such a mean person. How are you so selfish? You wouldn't want me to have a good time. I did not want her to have a good time. She's like, I chose positivity for myself. Like, you chose... No problem. I told you go out with the guy, have fun, enjoy, but I just wanted you with me, like, and for us to go out, and I wanted you to stay in my house. Like, for you to stay one night and then leave is just so disrespectful. Then you don't message me, you don't ask, because I was upset because I went through something super hard and I wasn't in the best mood. That's the way you treat me. So yeah, we're no longer friends, and that's the story. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Like, I don't even know. And this is the finished look. This is the clarification episode, so let's get on it. Number 1, I never told her that I could pick her up from the airport. As soon as she told me the time, I checked my school schedule and I told her that I couldn't. Number 2, she asked if it was okay to stay with me, and I told her of course she could stay with me. No hesitation of staying with me prior to the family stuff I was going through. So I actually gave her an alternative. I was like, oh, we can stay somewhere else. And she was like, yeah, I checked the hotel prices and they're crazy. So I actually found another place for us to stay as well. But then it ended up working out that my house was the better option. First night, we went to sleep at around like 12:01, and she was exhausted too. She had been up for 24 hours and hadn't slept. So we were both super tired. It wasn't just me. When she told me that she was leaving, I told her how I felt. I said I found it disrespectful and it would upset me. And I told her, like, I really want you around, but that's my opinion and I'm entitled to tell her how I feel. When she decided she was going to leave, we went back to my house and she was complaining that she was in so much pain. Her body was in so much pain. And I actually gave her a massage because I'm good at massages for half an hour. So clearly I wasn't like horrible, you know what I mean? I was still nice. I gave her a half an hour massage. It was chill. Also, another thing I want to clarify is I wasn't in like this terrible mood crying in the bed, like talking. I actually didn't talk to her about anything the whole time she was there. She kept pushing, what's wrong, like what's going on, and I did not say anything. So everyone's saying she doesn't need to be my therapist. I actually didn't talk to her about anything while she was physically there with me. I just wanted to enjoy the moment. Yeah, I wasn't like jumping up and down and like, ooh, like, you know, but I was chill, I was normal. She left, she kept reiterating how she wants to go have dinner the next day, and I was like, yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Like, we'll see where we want to go. I'll try to think of something. I wasn't the most enthusiastic about it, to be honest, because I'm trying to be as honest as possible. But yeah, I was like, yeah, like, we'll see. I'll try to find a place either in my area or the area she was staying in. And as we know, she never reached out to me the next day. Everyone's saying that I should have canceled when I went through whatever the family stuff I was going through. She took work off and it was like 2 days before, like she couldn't cancel her flight. And that's why I tried to find solutions, different places we can stay. And like, I tried really my best to be in the best mood as possible. Like, I wasn't sitting here crying, venting, like nothing. Biggest question, why did I turn off the comments? I turned off the comments not because people weren't on my side or this and that, and not because I have something to hide. It's because people are being so disgustingly disrespectful about her and being very, very inappropriate. I asked for your opinions because I was curious what you guys think, but I was not expecting people to speak inappropriately about her and her relationship and whatever. Everyone has different views. Some people agreed with me, some people agreed with her, and that's perfectly fine. There's so many different people in this world. There's so many people who have different views on friendship, and that's totally normal. I didn't want everybody to just agree with me. No, I actually wanted to hear other people's side. Maybe I'm not seeing it in the right way. Maybe there's something I'm missing. But I actually wanted to get your opinions. But if people are going to be disgusting and disrespectful in the comments, no matter what, that is not acceptable for me. So that's why I turned off the comments. If you guys have any more questions, comment them here. But let's be super respectful. Let's not be mean to her. Let's not be mean to anybody. Give your opinion and that's it. Leave any disrespect out the door. And if I feel like the comments are getting way too out of hand,